it's a quest for us to really groom young people who are going to influence the 7 mountains of influence.
Okay. We have the 7 mountains of
7 mountains of influence. Yeah.
then
The
they are
first mountain of influence is the mountain of family.
okay.
That is in this book. That every single person,
It is in this book.
It's in this book.
And they make kind
It's in this book that every single person born of a woman comes from a family.
Definitely,
Yeah, from a family.
Sure.
So the first mountain that we are supposed to influence for God's glory is not any other but the family. An armed robber comes from a family.
Sure.
A pastor comes from a family.
Sure.
A drug addict comes from a family.
Sure.
So for us to really address the core of this crisis, it has to begin from the family. So I really remember in the year 2017, and when I completed senior high school, in quest to really know the Lord the more, I was praying, fasting, and I really remember I heard a clear voice that I should pick up a pen and a paper and I should write exactly what I would hear.
Hi, my name is AJ, the Gospel Promoter. You know, so on this channel, dear, we bring you only good things in Kwan. And then you have an interview. Now we have a brother. He's a young author. The guy's an author will be an author woman. Buku. He's a very, very young guy. So that is what we are going to talk about today. And today, dear, Ubehu Nimfiti Asia Hawa. Why na you so book? Dear can na the dear. Yaminam the so or ye book in your mapufrobia. Yaminam and Sanso Ereba. My name is AJ, the Gospel Promoter. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Share and let others know the good things we are doing. Now today, let's get into it. The name is Isaac Asante Jeche. Somebody is here. Mr. Isaac, you are welcome.
Thank you so much, sir.
This is Mayam AG, the Gospel Promoter. I promote the gospel. And today I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, sir.
Now, who is Isaac Asante Jeche? Is the name correct?
That's very right. The name is Isaac Asante Jeche.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Isaac Asante Jeche is a very young person, as you rightly said. I'm 25 years of age.
Okay.
And I have almost a decade experience in writing.
Okay.
And also, by God's grace, I was born to Apostle Samuel Jeche and Mrs. Alice Jeche.
Okay.
And the last born in a family of 7.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, this is who Isaac is.
So apart from you being the son of an apostle, Jeche, tell us more about yourself, your educational background.
All right. So I had my basic school education in a couple of schools because of my father's profession.
Okay.
So we moved from places to places on transfers. So some of the schools I could really remember, the Infantry Basic School, that is in Cape Coast, where I had my junior high school from Form 1 through Form 2.
Okay.
And right from there, my father was transferred to Sunyane as an area head pastor. So that was when I was also transferred to a Miracle Educational Complex to complete my basic school from Form 2 to Form 3, and I took my BC exams.
Okay.
So right from there, I was placed to Osei Senior High School as my first choice.
Okay.
Right here in Kumasi, Ekropong. So I had my secondary school education at Ekropong, Osei Senior High School.
Okay.
Right from there, taking the WASI, I continued my education to the Christ Apostolic University College, where I read education and then theology. Yeah. So right from there, I'm looking forward to furthering my education to my master's anytime soon.
Oh, okay. Okay. So 25 years of age and achieve all these.
By God's grace.
Sounds so interesting. Now, when did you develop the attitude in writing?
I would say the attitude in writing was a calling.
A calling.
A calling.
And how will you define a calling?
A calling is a mandate the Lord has placed in your hands.
Okay.
So although I had this affinity towards reading and towards exploring into new literatures, however, the calling to put knowledge on paper as a literature that will be pegged to my name was not there. So I really remember in the year 2017, and when I completed senior high school, in quest to really know the Lord the more, I was praying, fasting, and I really remember I heard a clear voice that I should pick up a pen and a paper and I should write exactly what I would hear. So I remember I was in my father's room, apostolic, in his study room, and I was sitting in his chair on his table, and I heard the voice saying, "The young ones who are in crisis."
Okay. Wait a minute. We will get to that.
Okay.
At what age did you have that interest in writing? At what age?
I would say it began right in senior high school.
In senior high school. So age, if
so
you can.
Around 18 years.
18 years. Then you developed that skill.
That's going right here.
Oh, okay. So do you have books at your end that you've written?
Yeah, by God's grace, I've manuscripted 20 books. When I say manuscript, that means the information or the detail or the content is ready. But to publish it is a different step.
Okay.
So the content for the 20 books is there, is ready. But I've only published 2 of those.
So you have 2 now?
Yes, please.
Okay. We will come to the books itself.
Right.
And from there, do you have the should I say the apostolic calling that is to be a pastor in the near future?
Yeah, by God's grace, I've had a couple of prophecies that I will be a man of God in the near future, and I also feel that calling in me strongly as well.
So, are you following the prophecies, or you have the conviction?
The prophecies were affirmations of the calling. The prophecy is an affirmation of the calling I have. Okay. Yeah, so it's not because I want to be a pastor because of the prophecies, but the prophecies were just to validate the calling that the Lord has given me.
What is your first book? That is the title.
The first book I wrote, I remember, was "Who Am I in Christ?"
Who am I in Christ?
Yes, please.
So your writings is basically approaching Christ-like behavior.
Yes, please. Yeah. So my books are not just mere literatures. It's a literature with Christ as the epicenter, just to transform the youth to have the mind of Christ as part of their life. Yeah.
Now tell us a few things about Who Am I in Christ? If I'm mistaken.
Yeah, you're very right. Who am I in Christ? So,
Who Am I in Christ?
Who Am I in Christ is a book that is to identify a Christian as a son, not a servant. All right. So most people think that because I'm in church, I'm a slave of God, or let's say I'm a servant of God. But your real identity in Christ is as a son of God. So regardless of your gender, being a male or being a female, you are a son of God. You are an identity in Christ that Christ has really bought you with his priceless blood. So that is the succinct message in the book, Who Am I in Christ?
Right. I would like to ask you some few questions in that book.
Please.
How can a man identify himself as a son?
That's very true. Identifying yourself as a son, number one, you don't give yourself an identity.
Okay.
You have your identity from the source from which you came. All right. So if you are a son of God, the question is, how are you a son of God? Okay. You are a son of God because you are begotten of Christ himself. All right. So and that is the entirety of that book, Who Am I in Christ? And I remember I wrote that book when I was in senior high school.
Really?
When I was about to write my WASI. Yeah.
Then you wrote
that book. Yeah.
So how many days or months or hours did you use to write it?
I remember with that book, it took me about almost 5 months.
5 months.
5 months, yeah. But the pages are very few, but the content itself is very deep.
Now, your second book, which I was at the launching, I was there. It was epic. It was massive. It was entertaining. It was beautiful.
That was good.
Now, let's talk about the atmosphere first. The atmosphere at that very day. Right. How did your team organize that such beautiful program?
I would say a very big thank you to my organizers and to my brothers who helped me to come up with such beautiful program. Although the Lord inspired this initiative. However, men were the conduits through which He organized this program. Number one, I really remember that we took time to think through and pray through the program.
Okay.
So my organizers, my music team, Tiwa ICC Music, we fasted and prayed towards the program. Every Sunday for 2 months before the program, we were meeting, fasting, praying towards the program. And even apart from that, those who came to put together the sound, the lightning, the LED screens and everything, we really took our time to choose them, to select them. It's not because we knew them or we know them, that's why we just went in for them.
Okay.
So everything was designed by God Himself. Yeah.
What is the title of the book?
The title of the book is The Young in Crisis.
The Young in Crisis.
Yes, please.
So you believe the young ones are in crisis?
I believe with all my heart.
Is it you know or you believe?
I believe and I know.
Really?
Yes.
Now, give me some instances you think the young are in crisis.
All right. So, first of all, let me take you to what the real word of crisis means.
Okay.
All right. So, a word like crisis, challenge,
okay,
or for you to be in a state of confusion, they are almost same,
okay,
but not same.
Okay.
All right. So, for you to be in a challenge means you are in trouble.
Sure.
For you to be in a state of confusion means you are in trouble.
Okay.
But for you to be in crisis is much more weightier than these two.
That is very, very true.
So for someone to be in crisis, it means it could be these two plus anything other.
Okay.
All right. So that's why the title of the book was very precise. That the young ones in crisis, the young ones are not in a challenge.
But we could have an adult in crisis.
We can have an adult in crisis. However, the word young can encapsulate all those.
Okay.
The word young can mean someone from the age of, let's say, 5 to 10, sure. from the age of 10 to 18. So that's why we use the Lord led him to use the word young, not any other word. So the young ones who are in crisis. And the crisis is because, number one, in our current world, currently, if you are looking for the sect of human stratification or human development that are confused,
it is we the young ones.
We the young ones, exactly.
That is true.
That is the center that this book was trying to or is trying to arrive at.
Now, this is a copy of the book I purchased at the program. Now, upon getting this book, I read a very little portion. It took you 8 years before writing this book.
Oh, it took me 8 years.
8 good years.
8 good years.
Before writing this book.
Yes.
Explain.
From 2017.
Why did it take so long? It took you so long before writing this book. Why?
That's true. It took me so long because of the content of the book.
Okay.
So, for instance, it takes a dog a very little period to give birth.
Okay.
But it will take a very longer period for an elephant to give birth. And that's because of the content of what they are carrying. So for me to take 8 years, or for the Lord to take me through 8 years to bring out this book, that means the content in there is very, very valuable and very heavy. It has to go through that 8 years process.
Now, what type of crisis did you define in this very book?
I defined a plethora of crises. Number one, I talked of developmental crisis.
Okay.
Developmental crisis, that means a crisis that comes along your development.
Okay.
So you do not expect those things to come to you when you are growing, but it just comes to you all of a sudden. For instance, for you to be developing pubic hair all of a sudden, you don't know where that came from.
Sure.
But that came as part of your developmental process.
Okay.
For instance, as young as we are, we might feel the urge to even have some sexual intercourse.
Okay.
It's not because you want that, but because of your biology as a human being as you are growing. So I describe that as part of the crisis that we go through. However, one of the crises that I'm very concerned about is something I call situational crisis.
Okay.
A crisis that comes to us as a result of our situations. At times we don't expect it. It's not at times, all at times, usually we don't expect it. It just comes to us all of a sudden. For instance, you were talking with your parents, and your parents will say that I'm going out to buy ABC. You get that your parents are normal. You never expected that to happen to you, but that just happens to you. And in those situations, if that person doesn't really take care and finds refuge in the right source, the person will just go into a situation that he or she might not even come back from it at all. So the crises I defined are just many in the book. Yeah.
Is this book for only Christians?
I will not say this book is for only Christians. This book is for every youth on this face of the earth. Every single youth. If you know you are a youth, this book is for you.
Then I think and I believe that after this launching, you need to go to the senior high levels and the university so that you can let them have it.
That's very true. As part of our action plan for the next few months, we'll be touring the senior high schools with this same message. The message will be communicated through our music and through the message, the teaching and preaching. So senior high schools will be coming to you very soon. To every senior high school in Kumasi and all the 16 regions in Ghana. Yeah.
So what is? I believe you have a ministry, and not only about the book writing, but it goes beyond that. Flow us.
The ministry that embodies this vision is impacting generations.
Impacting
generations. Okay. And I had that name for the organization in 2017 when I was in wait for this book to be actually matured in me. Yeah. So impacting generation simply is about everything concerning the youth. Any situation that the young ones are facing to discover their purpose, to really know Christ the more, to build an intimacy with the Father. It's a quest for us to really groom young people who are going to influence the 7 mountains of influence.
Okay. We have the 7 mountains.
7 mountains of influence. Yeah. Then the first mountain of influence is the mountain of family.
Okay.
That is in this book. That every single person,
it is in this book.
It's in this book.
And
it's in this book that every single person born of a woman comes from a family.
Definitely,
yeah, from a family.
Sure.
So the first mountain that we are supposed to influence for God's glory is not any other but the family. An armed robber comes from a family.
Sure.
A pastor comes from a family. Sure. A drug addict comes from a family.
Sure.
So for us to really address the core of this crisis, it has to begin from the family.
All right. Don't just talk plenty about this, Charlie. He's just defining some few things from this book. Go and grab your copy now. When we're about to finish this interview, he's going to tell us where we can get this book to buy. Now, for a book to be valid and recognized, you need to be forwarded by some people.
Yes, please.
Who are people who forwarded this book?
By God's grace, I was privileged for this book to have been forwarded by the General Secretary of CACI, Apostle Dr. Samuel Adekusi. He forwarded this book for me.
Okay.
Not only him, Professor Clement Somoa, the immediate past president of Christ Apostolic University College.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he also helped.
So your final words?
My final words would be that the Lord is looking for the young ones to groom them. In one of my books I'll be launching very soon is The Fierce Battle of the Youth.
You have another book
I'll be bringing out The Fierce Battle of the Youth.
Okay.
That there's a
but
battle.
It seems you are much concerned about the youth.
I'm not concerned about the youth because the youth is the foundation.
I like that.
The youth is the starting point to build any recognized or legit institution in this world.
That's very, very
right. So for us to really have a sanitized society, it will have to start from the youth. And I believe this calling is a very serious one that we would have to follow with all our hearts. So my social media handles on Facebook is Isaac Jeche. On Instagram is Isaac Jeche. Okay. On TikTok is Isaac A. Jeche. On YouTube is Isaac Jeche. All right. So on all my social media handles is Isaac Jeche. That's all.
So please, last question.
Yes, please.
Are you married?
I'm not married.
So you are in a relationship?
Not yet, please.
So you're not dating any lady?
I'm not dating any lady now.
See, a man should be anyone in a chamber. Well, thank you for coming.
Thanks so much.
And we are blessed to have the young writer on this studio. God bless you. And today, we are out.